I've been studying waves and pendulums and curves for a long time now. I've been looking for where history repeats itself. And one of the important pendulums has been the me and we. Back in the 1980s, we were at the zenith of the me generation. And everybody says that's bad. And it might be bad because we are in this together. But the deal with a me generation is it never goes bad with government taking over a bunch of stuff because it's all about the individual. And so nobody can cobble together a big enough force to have a totalitarian state, traditionally speaking. And it's an 80-year cycle. Now we're approaching the zenith of the we. The last time America or the West saw we was in the 1930s. And we know what happened. And we went through the New Deal because we were all in it together. And we had all kinds of socialist ideas that had been brewing for a while. But all of a sudden, they kicked in. The same thing happened. The we before that was during the Civil War. And that was the exact time that over in Europe, they were doing the Communist Manifesto. And the time before that was the American Revolution and the French Revolution. The French Revolution shows that if you don't have the right principles, it goes awry. The Communist Manifesto in Europe, if you go into a we generation and you don't have the right principles, you go awry. Same thing here. So 2025 is the peak of the we generation, and then it starts to come back. Now, I asked the guy who did all the research on this, and I said, so what is the effect of social media? And he said, we don't know. And I said, it should speed it up, shouldn't it? And he said, it might. Well, I think we've seen the peak. I could be wrong, but I think we've seen the peak of the we generation. I think we're moving in the other direction. And let me make the case. There are three factors that we're all feeling right now. One of them is globalism. Globalism versus nationalism. The globalists, I think, are still in control, and a lot of people feel the pressure from globalism. And when I say globalism, what I mean is having to be the world's policeman, having everybody tied together and no real nation state, no borders or anything else. And on top of that, you have corrupt cronyism and capitalism that's just corrupt. Not a free market, but a corrupt game-playing capitalism that's controlled by very wealthy people and governments, okay? So those things are still on the rise, and you can say you're cleaning out the swamp, but are you cleaning out the swamp? Is the swamp allowed to be cleaned out by anybody? Who's actually taking on the big things? Now, Donald Trump, you can paint him as a warmonger, but the last thing he is a warmonger. He was not for any of these wars. That is a direct reflection of people saying, I'm tired of this globalist thing. And that's why it's being pushed to nationalism, okay? And it's being pushed there by things that are easily taken care of. But if you don't take care of those things, the country will become more and more nationalistic, because what people are saying is, why are we spending so much money abroad? Why are we doing these things? These people are getting rich and I'm getting poor. What are you doing? I care about my country. I care about, when you boil it down, I don't care about my country as much as I care about my neighborhood. I do care about my country, but I'm seeing things fall apart in my neighborhood, and that's the pain point. That's what's pushing nationalism, and it's going to push it on both sides. In the end, it'll push it on both sides. Socialism is also going up, but that is because capitalism has not been routed out for being corrupt. It needs to be corrected. Companies need to be corrected. Let them stand on their own. Let them fail. Don't give them any special favors. Let the little guy have a chance to compete. That's not happening. And every day you read something about Facebook or Google, those things are hurting They're not helping because people see these things as giant corporations, not socialist movement, giant corporations that are corrupt, that are getting their way and getting rich off of our backs. So that's another reason why socialism is going up. But we're going the opposite direction, and I think this is a leading indicator. We're starting to feel the pain now on we. We're starting to feel the pain on I have to walk lockstep with a tribe, or I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose all my friends, or I'm going to lose my family. That's so un-American. That's so unlike us, except in we moments. And it's the worst I've ever seen it, and the worst, I think this is the worst since the Civil War. And you're either with entirely 100% or you're against entirely 100%. And people are tired of it, and they're fed up with it on both sides.